Welcome to a video where we will learn about the calculator requirements for this class and answer some frequently asked questions about the calculator requirements. We will also take a look at comparing the TI84 calculator with the free online graphing calculator website, Desmos. Let's get started. Here are the calculator requirements for this course. This course requires students to use a graphing calculator throughout this semester. We recommend using either the TI84 graphing calculator or the Desmos graphing calculator website, which is located at www.desmos.com. Many students ask, can I use a different calculator other than the two recommended? Of course, students can choose to use a different calculator other than the TI84 or Desmos. But keep in mind, this class will only support how to use either the TI84 calculator and Desmos. So if you choose to use a different type of calculator, you will need to use the manual to figure out how to use it. Also keep in mind that during exams, students can use any handheld calculator, but only the Desmos website. No phones or other websites are allowed during exams. One of the most common questions that I get is, what is the difference between the TI84 calculator and Desmos? The TI84 calculator is a traditional handheld calculator. Even if you haven't used a graphing calculator before, you've probably used a traditional 10-key calculator or a 4-function calculator with add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And this is based off of that concept, except it also graphs functions and does a variety of other things. Desmos is a free online graphing calculator website, and they also have a companion app for iPhones and Android phones. The most common question I get is, which calculator should I choose? This is a hard question to answer because it really is an individual decision. I'll lay out some pros and cons in this video. Students are encouraged to choose the type of technology that will give them the best chance at success in this course. So choose what you're going to be comfortable using. Choose what you're going to use. Regardless of the type of calculator you choose, please understand it will take time to learn how to use it for this class. Let's compare the two options. Let's start by looking at some pros of the TI84 calculator. The TI84 graphing calculator is built off of a traditional handheld style calculator. So if you've used even a 4-function calculator, add, subtract, multiply, and divide, you'll probably be comfortable doing the basic arithmetic on this calculator. Now you'll just have to learn how to use the graphing menus. Another pro about the TI84 calculator is it's offline. You can use it anytime, anywhere. You don't have to be connected to the internet. Most of the help videos in this class will demonstrate how to use the TI84 calculator. Beyond this course, YouTube also offers tons of instruction videos for the TI84 calculator. So there's a plethora of help out there on how to use this calculator. Like anything, there are positives and there are also challenges. So let's look at some of the challenges of using the TI84 calculator. It does provide an additional expense, although in the syllabus I have provided options on how to either borrow or rent a TI84 calculator. If you feel that you would be more comfortable with a traditional handheld style calculator, but you cannot afford the additional expense, please make sure you look at the syllabus for information on how to borrow or rent a calculator and save yourself some money. One of the main challenges with the TI84 calculator is it's less intuitive to use. So solving some types of problems on the TI84 calculator require using several menus and button clicks. But please keep in mind that there will be a lot of support for the TI84 calculator in this course. So we will be showing you how to use your calculator throughout the semester. Now let's look at some pros of the Desmos graphing calculator website. The first one is it's free to use. Well, the price is right. The second, and I would say even more important positive of the Desmos graphing calculator website, is that it tends to be more intuitive to use. Desmos requires using fewer menus and button clicks compared to the TI84. It's also mobile. There is a Desmos app for the iPhone and Android, but also just keep in mind cell phones are typically not permitted during the exams, but students are usually permitted to use the website desmos.com during the exam. Like everything, there are positives, there are also challenges. Because Desmos is a website, it is online. That means that internet access is required and you can only use it when you have access to the internet. It's non-traditional. The web interface takes time to get used to. Desmos is not built like a traditional 4-function calculator, so it will take a little bit of time to get used to looking at a different interface. Whereas the TI84 calculator is an extension of the traditional handheld calculator. And there are fewer help videos to demonstrate how to solve the problems using Desmos. Now, this is for a few reasons. First of all, using Desmos doesn't require as much help because there are not as many menus to access. And second, there are fewer Desmos help videos because Desmos has not been around as long. It's only been around for about 5 years. More videos are being made available on a regular basis, but the TI84 calculator's been around for about 30 years, so people have been making YouTube videos for about 15 years with it. I'm always working to improve the help videos for this course. Now let's take a look at a side-by-side comparison of the two calculators. I'm just going to compare two operations. Let's add fractions and let's see how to graph functions. For this demonstration, I'll have my TI84 calculator on the left-hand side and the Desmos graphing calculator on the right. Let's look at the Desmos graphing calculator website here. This is the website desmos.com. To access the graphing calculator, you can either click on the button in the center of the web page that says graphing calculator, or you can go to the Math Tools menu. Using that pull-down menu, you can see that they have many different types of calculators, including your standard 4-function calculator or scientific calculator. For this demonstration, I'm going to be illustrating how to use the graphing calculator. Okay, let's start by adding fractions. Let's just add two simple fractions like 1/2 plus 3/4. On the TI84, you would just enter it, add 1/2 plus 3/4, hit enter, and it gives us 1.25. Now let's do the same using Desmos. So I would click in this first cell. You can either use the keypad at the bottom of the screen and type it in, or you can use your keyboard. So I'm just using my keyboard here. So 1/2 plus 3/4, and then hit enter. And I can see, same, 1.25. Really, there was no difference between the two calculators to do this basic arithmetic. I simply typed in the exact same thing into each calculator. Now let's say I want to convert my answer to a fraction. Both calculators can convert decimals to fractions. To do that on the TI84 calculator, I would click on the Math button. The first option is a little arrow and then fraction. That means convert my answer to a fraction. So I would hit enter and then hit enter again to convert my answer 1.25 to a fraction, and that gives us 5/4. Not too bad. I just simply had to use the Math menu to convert it to a fraction. Now let's see how to do the same thing on Desmos. So if I want to convert my answer 1.25 to a fraction, all I need to do is go over to the left side. There's a little circle with a button that looks like a fraction. That button will convert your answer to a fraction. So see, when I can click on that button, it converts 1.25 to 5/4. Clicking that button again will allow you to toggle between fraction and decimal form. So when I say that Desmos is a little bit more intuitive, it's because if I wanted to convert that answer to a fraction, there's a little button there. It looks like a fraction. I click it, it converts it. The TI84 calculator, on the other hand, I have to know which menu to use. So that's the only drawback of the TI84. But like I said, keep in mind there will be plenty of help for the TI84 in this course. Now let's look at something like graphing functions. I'm not going to go over the details on how to do this here. So to graph using the TI84, you go up to the Y equals button, which is the graphing menu, and you enter your two functions. I've already entered them in, x squared minus 3 and x minus 1, and then press the graph button, and that will allow you to view the parabola and the line. Now let's do the same in Desmos. I'm just going to enter our two functions into two new cells on the left-hand side. So y1 is going to equal x squared minus 3. y2 is going to equal x minus 1, just like I did on the other one. And as I type in, it graphs it over here in the graphing window. So I can see both the function and the graph on the same page. The nice thing is you can actually change colors here. If I press and hold the little circle button, I can change the color. I can change the thickness of the lines. And now we've drawn the same graph on both the TI84 and the Desmos graphing calculator. To be honest, it was about the same amount of work. For the TI84, we had to enter those functions in and then we graph it. We had to do the same on Desmos. We had to enter the functions in and then it graphed it. Now let's try to do one more thing. Let's try to find one of the intersection points of these two graphs. If I want to do that on the TI84 calculator, I need to use the Calculate menu under the graphing window. So I would hit Second Calc, and then option 5 is Intersect. So using that, and then you hit Enter 3 times, and I get the intersection point is -1, -2. Don't worry if you haven't done this before. We will learn how to do this in the lessons in this course. I'm only trying to illustrate here how the TI84 calculator relies on menus to perform various tasks. In Desmos, if I want to find the same intersection point, I can just click right on it. So if I click on that intersection, it will reveal the coordinates. So these graphs intersect at -1, -2. So once again, when I say that Desmos is more intuitive, it's because, if I want to know a point, I can just click on it and it will reveal the coordinates to me. So it's a little bit more intuitive. Whereas the TI84, you just need to be able to use the menus appropriately. Well, that's it for this video. I hope I've answered some of your initial questions about the calculator. Always feel free to reach out in an email. Thanks for watching.